Good evening. I'm Jeff. Been working all day. I've got a project going. We live on a small farm, and our objective with this farm is to make it into an automatic, self operating food production system. That all we have to do is just kind of steer it. We don't have to go out and plow and all that stuff all the time. Just build it and allow it to work for us or for the next generation since we're elderly. And a lot of that is with trees that produce food. We've been planting. We have planted black walnuts, and we've planted. Uh, we've I've attempted chestnuts once, but not yet had success with them. But I'm still working on it. I didn't plant enough of them. I planted two. One died. One chestnut can't make nuts by itself, so but that's okay. I've planted more already, and I'll plant more in the spring. And we have mulberries here. We have a lot of mulberries because they're an old field invader. The birds plant mulberries, and we just choose to mow around them. A lot of people consider them to be a pest. We consider them to be food, and a lot of our desserts have mulberries in them for a goodly part of the year. So that's part of it. We're gonna plant annual things like watermelons. We're just gonna go around here and plant watermelon seeds around that perimeter fence because it's hard to keep stuff from growing under the fences. And if watermelons want to grow under the fences, that'd be fine with me. And if they don't, that's okay because we got the seeds. We raised the watermelons and we ate the watermelons and we saved the seeds. So we got about, I don't know, quart, half a gallon. I don't know for sure how much, but we got a pretty good bunch of mixed breed, mixed cultivars of watermelon. It's just saved seeds. And we like watermelons, and they're a real distinctive plant. So if you're out, if I'm out mowing in the pasture and the watermelons have come on, if someplace one of them has grown, because they're not a few of them. I'm only looking maybe a few of them grow. That's good, and it's a real distinctive looking vine. I'm out there mowing, looking at the ground. I mow at a walking pace because you really need to be able to see your ground to know what it's doing. And this thing that people do with big fast machines, it's not the same thing I do. So, and I couldn't begin to anyway. I mean, it would cost, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars just to start. It costs millions of dollars probably just to start. So if it's not in your family, it's real hard to get in unless you're a humongous corporation. My neighbor bought a used but reasonably new, in good condition, used John Deere combine harvesting machine, and it cost him over $100,000. That was used. It was better than the one he had. And it's I've done videos about that kind of agriculture. The trouble with that kind of agriculture is that it creates deserts on the face of the earth. We get something that's edible off of it, and the rest of the year it's a desert. And even while there's something that's edible growing on it, it's a desert except for that thing, because we've found ways to completely kill everything that grows on a given piece of soil, except our quote desired crop plant. And so that I've got some videos. like you to go find some of my farm videos, because you go out and look at them. It's not like it looks on TV. You go out and look at them, and they're just beyond enormous. I live in Missouri. We're not even, you could go over into Indiana or Illinois or someplace where the land's better, up in Iowa, and the deserts are even bigger. I mean, we're as dead as the Sahara Desert, except corn's popping up on it and soybeans are popping up on it. And then we're having hysteria because China won't buy our soybeans. And it's like, for God's sakes, we got so many soybeans. What do you want us to do? Pave the roads with them? But I'm sorry, I cough a lot. I do that. I can't help it. Chica, you're licking my hand. Chica's licking my hand because I'm talking to that thing and it annoys her. What I'm trying to do here is a combination of the things that Mark Shepard teaches. If you look at some of his videos, you'll see a very real system that would create a culture. And I mean, immediately, we could start it today. The only reason we don't is because we don't. System that could feed more people better with vastly better outcomes for the land around us. I mean, I'm not talking about giving up anything. We change our crops. We change from annuals to perennials, and we manage the land so that it feeds the crops instead of going out there and squirting death on it. You can't read all this stuff about all the birds are ceasing to exist and all the insects are ceasing to exist. You can't blame all that on climate change. And you can't pretend that helping climate change will fix that. The deserts that we produce with our high energy, high speed, large scale agriculture are literally deserts. They're deader than the Sahara. The reason that everything's dying is because there's no place to live. And you can't fix that by getting rid of the carbon. It just doesn't work that way. So I had to get this plow so that I could do one thing. I'm going to plow one horizontal line across my hill faces on two places, one on this side of the road and one over on the other side of the road. And those are to manage water flows, so that when water rolls from rain, water comes down off the hill, it all draws together into the gully spot, the lowest place there. And then it runs down that. And this is grassland. Our place is mostly grassland. And so it's somewhat protected from soil losing erosion by virtue of the grass. But not totally. When you get all this water is really powerful stuff. People's cars get washed off bridges all the time by 3 or 4 inches of water. And you get all this water rolling down a hill face, even with grass on it, it's going to attack the soil. And it's going to carry it away. It's going to carry it downstream. And the shape of the land is going to change. The reason the Ozarks look like mountains, the Ozarks aren't really mountains, okay? The Ozarks were a plateau. There was this great big high spot that looked like a giant version of all the mesas out west. And then water ran across the surface of it and it wore it away. And what you see now as the Ozark Mountains is actually the Ozark Plateau. And that's erosion, not uplift. The Himalayas are uplift. The ground below went squinch and stuff shoved them up in the air. But the Ozarks were formed by erosion. So I'm up here on the uplands and I'm looking at serious problems in everything in our ecosystem. People talk about climate change, and yes, that's really a big deal, but it's only one of them. We've got this whole, and what it is that our system, our complete economy of high speed is untenable. And that's the the whole recommended solution that everybody knows about, the only quote respectable solution, I guarantee it's the solution that Michael Mann advocates, and he is a highly respected climate scientist, and I highly respect him. But the solution of keeping us moving at this speed by using some non-carbon emitting energy, that won't work. We can't go this fast. The world cannot absorb this much energy from the human race. We have to slow down to a walking pace. We have to pound on this planet no harder than the weight of our feet. And this planet will feed us. It will feed all 7.5 billion, 8 billion. You look around, you look how crowded the whole world is. I mean, it's just like everybody, there's people up in your face no matter where you go. There's 7 goddamn it billion people. The reason it's so crowded is because everybody's going a mile a minute. If you had 7 billion people distributed across the fertile parts, the parts that we're using now and farming now, if you had 7.5 billion people distributed more or less as the ecosystem itself would permit, to do that you'd have to not have huge private property. Private property has to be somehow limited to what one person can interact with and productively use. And I don't mean extractively. Okay, well, we've confused the terms production and extraction in our economy. And we take a piece of land and we extract value from it, irreplaceably extract value from it, and we call that production. That's not production, that's extraction. And every human being that will ever be born from this day forward is poorer because we did that. We don't have the right to do that. We don't have the right to do it to the rest of the world. We don't have the right to do it to the rest of the people. We don't have the right to do that. We extract. If everybody who had a piece of land worked to make that productive, to make it do these things at the same time, produce more food, produce more topsoil, slow the passageway through of water, cool the land with shade. We can do all those things. This is not pie in the sky. All those things about the solar panels in the desert and the wind turbines in the prairies, and we'll get there and it'll all, that's the pie in the sky. That ain't real. You can't do that. This world will not do that. Everything we extracted already is gone. It's not going to be long before Americans start mining our own dumps. We have to make land produce, make it simultaneously become richer and more capable, and produce the things that we need on it. We can get all our fiber. We never have to make another plastic fiber. We can get all our food. Everything that a human being has ever had, counting today, came from this earth. And because there's no place else to get anything. And what we're doing is we're extracting all these finite things to have toys right now. And the way we do that is by emitting carbon. And then we look at the carbon and we say, that's a problem. And yeah, it is. But the problem is what we did with it. We have to slow down. Can't do this. It won't work. That's all for now.